Hey guys, before we get into the video, please hit that subscribe button so you can follow my wacky misadventures on a weekly basis. I upload every single Monday, so please check back because my life is... Go ahead and follow me on Instagram. My username is in the description, and also it is deaditeblake. If you get that reference, please DM me so we can be best friends. So I did like five outfit changes. I was unsure what to wear. Like, I wasn't really feeling my previous outfit. I may wear it for another video. I decided on a flannel because I want to feel like a manly man, because this is a manly man subject, judging by me drinking beer while I'm doing this. Just kidding. So I know we live in a society that is far more accepting than even just a few years ago, but I still feel like coming out stories are so needed because no matter what generation you come from, coming out is never easy for anybody, and it's really hard if you don't have anybody to talk to. If I can help one person just through my video or through my actions, and I acknowledge sharing coming out stories is a privileged thing because a lot of places it's not okay to say you're gay. Real quick, I'm splitting this into two sections. I'm gonna try and fit it in I'm going to try to fit it in all in one video. Like, the first half is gonna be me coming out to my parents, and then me coming out to my friends, because they could both technically be two videos, I think, but I'm gonna go ahead and just combine them and see. And another disclaimer, I'm kind of like I think I'm like a sociopath because I don't really process emotional conversations very well. Like, maybe it's a defense mechanism, I don't know. I just replace all emotion with like annoyance. Like, I just get so annoyed I even have to have this conversation. Like, what the heck is going on? That was my approach to coming out. I was like, I'm so annoyed I have to come out because it's like a lot of emotion I have to feel. I know that's a hot take. Hopefully that helps some people. I don't know. Probably helpful to talk about my early feelings. So when I was younger, I definitely relate to the feeling of just feeling like something was different. Like, I think my parents didn't really catch on, because they say, a lot of parents say that they've known since their kid was really little, which I don't really buy, but a lot of parents claim that they know their kid's sexuality because it stuck out to them how different they were. But the thing is, they didn't catch on because I was just so unabashedly different. Like, I was just a weird kid. Like, I was weird, I was a loner, I liked anime, I still like anime, and I think a combination of me just being kind of like an odd person in general as an adolescent / early childhood, I don't think that really set any of the gay flags to my parents. I think they're more concerned about the anime thing. Let me tell you, puberty has a way of hitting different when you are a little gay boy. But I was still, in middle school, I was still just a really weird kid in general, so nobody really caught on. So then high school happens, and I'm much more aware, like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm different. Like, it sounds weird, but up until this point, I never really thought I was gay, and I did some mental gymnastics here, so I'm gonna try and explain it to you all. I never really thought I was gay because I never said it out loud. Like, I never told anybody. I didn't confide in anybody my feelings. I knew they were different, but I was like rationalizing it like, oh, I'm just a curious teenager, you know? And it was weird, but I convinced myself that I wasn't gay. And I looking back, I didn't know why it was so important. Like, now I don't care, but back then I was just like, nah, I can't be gay. Like, the first 2 years of high school were actually pretty uneventful, because like, I was still just really weird, and I was also hideous, so I didn't even have to deal with having to explain away girlfriends. But then junior year hit, and my glow up began. Let me tell you, 16-year-old Blake was the best version of me, hands down. I dare you to fight me on that. And so I hit my glow up, and I noticed girls are noticing me, but I'm not noticing them. Like, one time I had a girl write a love letter to me and leave it in my locker. Like, it was... Looking back, it was so adorable, and thinking of someone doing that now is also very adorable. But back then, I was like, caught off guard. I remember I had girls one time, like, texting me, and I didn't even give them my number, which kind of scared me a little bit. What can I say? But I didn't want them, so yeah, that was a problem. And throughout all this, I actually ended up getting a boyfriend, and he was actually my high school crush. We ended up dating together junior and senior year. I originally talked about my boyfriend at the time in this video, but then I didn't use it because it was just a really long story, a really long, horrible, disgusting, terrible, awful story. So please comment below if you want to hear that crazy ex story. When I do get a boyfriend, it's solidified like, yes, I'm gay and I have to deal with these feelings. So I decided to tell my mom. And the way that I told my mom, I don't recommend people do, because I don't recommend you tell your mom 2 bombshells if you think she's gonna take it as a bombshell. Because imagine me telling her I'm gay and also, hey, I also have a boyfriend. Like, that was just, maybe I planned that kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe I didn't do anything wrong. Who knows? Point is, I decided to tell my mom. So my mom, the day I decided to tell her, she had already met my boyfriend at the time. I'm gonna call him Travis, even though his name was not Travis, but I have to use a name, and I like the name Travis. Wait, no, I shouldn't use a name I like, because I don't like him. Yeah, it's okay. We'll just say Travis. So she had met Travis before, and I think she knew what was going on. My parents really just, I think they knew something was going on just by the way I was interacting with Travis, and Travis was also the more feminine between the two of us, if you can believe it or not. At that time, I think it was obvious to everybody. I just didn't say it. And it was annoying me. Like, it was annoying me how my mom was just kind of like slyly asking me about it. I remember the day that I told my parents was the same day BioShock Infinite launched. I think that was in 2013, so I was definitely 16, which makes sense because I dated Travis when I was 16 to 17. So yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I don't know why that sticks out to me. But no, I remember why, because I used BioShock Infinite as like an emotional support during my coming out. Like, BioShock Infinite was my coming out video game, if that makes sense. The day that BioShock Infinite was supposed to launch, me and my then best friend, let's call him Will suggested that we get the game and go back to my house and play it. So I'd already made that plan, and I decided to make that same day the day that I tell my parents, because I wanted Will to be there right up until the point I told them, just as like emotional support. So I told him, like, I had to tell Will at that point, like, hey, Will, I'm gay. And he wasn't surprised. Like, your best friends just know you even better than sometimes even your parents do. And he knew. And he was super supportive. And I could do another video about how we're no longer best friends, but honestly, that's a really dark story. I don't want to get into it. And he was like, yeah, dude, I'll stay. We'll do our same plan, but I'll just leave maybe later until you're ready. So I was like, cool. So I go buy BioShock Infinite with him, and we're playing it in the living room. My parents, both my parents are there. And I noticed my mom is still just super quiet, because I think it was on her mind too. So that night, Will leaves, he hypes me up, he's like, you can do it, you can do it. And so I go into my mom's room. I don't know where my dad is at this point, but I go into my mom's room, she's by herself, and at this point I'm already annoyed. I'm like, oh, I have to have this conversation. But I go up to my mom and I'm like, hey mom, what would you do if I told you I was gay? And she starts crying. And I'm like, oh, god damn it. Now I have to deal with all this. Like, I was just super annoyed with the whole thing. I know that sounds weird, but I was just annoyed. It was like, why are you crying? She goes, mothers are supposed to know everything about their kids, and I feel like I failed as a mother because I didn't know that. And I was like, really? You didn't know that? I didn't say that to her, but I was like, okay, but please don't cry about it. Like, you don't know, you're not me. Like, you don't know everything about me. Like, I was being pragmatic with my mom. My mom was crying, and she was like, I knew something was different. I just feel like a failure as a mom that I wasn't, aware of it. And I'm like, what are you saying, woman? Like, well, aware of it? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's my life. So I didn't go over to hug my mom, which I know is kind of like, people will say is cold. But in my head, I was like, I didn't feel like that was deserving of comfort. Like, you're upset at yourself for not knowing about me. Like, I don't know, I was annoyed, so I didn't hug her, and I know I'm cold-blooded. Maybe. No, I'm really not. And I was like, and also, Travis is my boyfriend. And she's not crying at this point when I tell her that, and she's kind of calmed down. She's like, okay, like, just, we kind of ended it with like, she appreciated me telling her, and I didn't really know where we stood, but whatever. So I told my mom, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go play BioShock Infinite now. And I just played BioShock Infinite for like 4 hours to avoid having to deal with that thought process. I never really did come out to my dad, because me and my dad don't really talk like that. And it's not like my dad is like emotionless, but he's kind of like me. He's very aloof, and he's not like big on those super emotional talks. He can have them, and he's really good at them, but he's more like kind of like, I just don't want to mess with it. And so I never really came out to my dad. I just kind of lived my life, and he's just never said he didn't accept it. And even if he didn't, I wouldn't really care. So, we've kind of just never had that conversation. So my mom was really the only parent I came out to. It was kind of a process after the night I told her. Like, the fact that I was dating Travis, she one time told me to, stay discreet for your safety. And I know she was looking out for me. I know she was looking out for my safety, but the fact that she told me to be discreet, like, up until very recently, I had a lot of resentment for that statement. Even though now I know where it was coming from, I still was just very resentful of that. Like, don't tell me how to live my life, you know? Like, I have that ambivalent personality, and in high school, I especially did. I was like, if you don't like me, I don't care. From there, she's been great. I consider my mom my best friend, and she's the biggest ally, and she's the first person I call when I break up with a guy, so she's come a long way. So the way that I came out to my friends is I didn't actually come out to my friends. And I'll explain. I was in choir. I was a choir kid. Mind you, I was a homosexual. I was a full-blown homosexual. So the school had like 3 choirs, and 2 choirs competed. The mixed boys choir, which I was a part of, with boys and girls. Why did I say mixed boys? It's just mixed. The mixed choir that I was a part of, and then the treble ensemble was just all girls. One of my friends, who was best friends with Travis at the time, was in treble ensemble. And I had a good relationship with her. Like, I wasn't really sure about her, this friend that Travis had who was in treble ensemble. Like, she was cool, but we weren't as close. And it's ironic because now she is my best friend. And I think she's actually calling me right now, but I'm going to silence her. And I remember we were going to San Francisco to compete, both the mixed and the treble ensemble, but we were on 2 separate buses. So I was on the mixed bus. Travis's friend was on that bus, the other one. And we're driving, and I'm texting Travis, and he asks me a question. He's like, hey, can I ask you a question? I go, yeah, what's up? He's like, is it cool if I tell Jenna, which is her real name, because I don't care. Is it cool if I tell Jenna that we're dating? Because she wants to go see this movie, but I already told you I'd go see it with you. And she's going to ask me, I'm not going to go with her. So I was like, okay, like, if you needing to mention that we're boyfriends is crucial to the story, like, go ahead, like, I don't care. Like, I was being super ambivalent. Like, I don't care. Just go ahead and tell her. It's going to be annoying. And the way that Jenna tells the story now, she says that she got that message. She looked at her other friend who was in the choir, who I also knew. I knew a lot of choir people. She looked at her other friend, showed her the message, basically coming out for me. And then she proceeds to tell the entire treble ensemble choir about me. Like, it was weird. She kind of she came out for me to that choir. We arrived to like a stop, and we arrived to a stop. I forget what we were doing. It's like a historical house tour we were gonna do. Mixed choir gets off the bus. Treble ensemble choir gets off the bus, and I see her, Jenna, and I know that Travis has already told her, and I'm like, what is the likelihood everyone else in the choir already knows? And it was very high, because immediately after I made eye contact with her, she came over to mixed choir to talk about what she just heard. The best part of this story, I think, is that Travis's ex was in the mixed choir with me. We'll call him Henry. Travis and Henry, I'm a Suda 51 fan. And Henry and I never really got along. Like, we didn't really have a reason to hang out. It's not that we didn't like each other, it's just we didn't have a reason to hang out. And Jenna goes over to Henry, tells her that, hey, this dude is dating your ex, who you hate. That's a whole other layer. And the way that the stories sync up is that I remember that moment. I didn't hear what she said, but I remember that moment of looking over at them, Jenna, Henry, and then a bunch of his friends too. So she was telling his friends too. Looking over at them, waving, and then looking back at me, and blank faces. And I was like, welp, Jenna just came out to the entire choir for me. The point is that once my choir knew, basically everyone else who I associated with knew. So that was unfortunate. But, when I talked with Jenna about it, she was like, I realized it was kind of crappy of me to, like, come out for you, and I'm sorry, but you kind of caught me off guard there, and I didn't really know what to do about it. And also, Henry, doesn't like Travis, and, like, then everything happened between you and Travis, and it's like, how do you feel about that situation now? And I'm like, you know what? I don't really care. Like, it was kind of funny. I look back on that memory kind of fondly because I'm like, it was kind of fun being the center of attention, but also, like, you came out for me and then I had to have all these awkward conversations, but whatever. But, what that experience taught me is that I was fine after I came out. I was fine, and I have a great support system now of, like, friends and family, and things are good. And you're always coming out, and you're going to look back on your first coming out experience, and you're going to be surprised at how far you've come. And I'm hoping that my story can help at least one other person approach their coming out with a sense of humor. It's something unique that we have to deal with. It's a disadvantage that we have as gay people having to come out. But I do think that the process of coming out is both scary and difficult and downright just terrifying. But it is a skill that I am lucky that I have because it's taught me how to claim my space. I claimed my space in high school, and I'm encouraging you to claim your space wherever you are in your experience, because I can only imagine being someone who didn't have a supportive family, being somebody who didn't have supportive friends, and not being able to even joke about their coming out story because it went so weirdly and funnily. It makes me sad that we live in a world that still isn't ready for everybody to claim their space. So I'm hoping some kind of helpfulness came from this video. I want to leave this on a good note. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you do want me to do that crazy ex-boyfriend story, please let me know. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see y'all later.